Hello. I am coming at you with another video that's been a concern with a lot of people that's been purchasing homes here after the Harvey flood. You know, I'm sure everyone has heard of the 500-year flood that came and inundated Houston for days, just continuous rain. And so when people are buying homes, one thing to consider when you're, especially buyers, when you're deciding to purchase a home, and advice to realtors too, if you are showing clients homes, ask them, first of all, do you want a home that's flooded? That is the first question. We get different answers from different people depending on the situation and depending on the purpose of the purchase. Because when you choose to buy a home that's flooded, some of the questions that I get is, if it was the first time, it's fine. If it's the second or third time, if it floods with a little bit of rain, then some buyers, they run fast as they can from that property. But some people know that Harvey was not your usual flood. And some homes that were not in a flood zone, they have been rezoned to be in a flood zone because they did flood during Harvey. And talk to the neighbors. That's the best thing, because some homes have been sitting for years, and that is the first time that they have flooded. So I would not necessarily say X out a home that's flooded. If you choose to buy a home that's flooded one time, if you choose to buy a home that's flooded 3 times, that's pretty risky, because the things you got to consider is that now you have to have flood insurance. You have to have flood insurance. It's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You got to have flood insurance, especially if it's been rezoned to be in a flood zone, where maybe earlier this year or before Harvey, it was never in a flood zone. So now you got to consider the insurance. And now you also need to, instead of getting just a regular inspection, if the seller doesn't, this is so wild, it's so windy, but if the seller doesn't have any records pertaining to the renovation of the property, the best thing to do is to be able to have time to get what we call an air quality assessment, where inspectors who specialize in letting you know if the air quality in that home is good is very important. They can tell if it's mold spores that are present. They can tell if it's safe, because some lenders will want to see that. And shoot, I don't care if I have a lender or not. I need to know if the air quality in that home, because people have done rehabs different ways. Some people have done rehabs the right way. Some people just threw some Clorox and put the sheetrock back up, and they could really dress up a home. But guess what's going to happen? 2 or 3 years, that mold and that mildew is going to start showing through that paint. It's going to make itself visible through the paint. So you want to have that done. I don't care how nice that house looks. I don't care how many plug-ins they have plugged into the walls. Just make sure you do all your due diligence. You gotta get some reassurance for yourself. So when you're looking for an inspector, some of them are certified to do that type of testing. And no, I'm not talking about just the infrared. I'm not talking about the infrared scan that show if it's any moisture behind the walls, because sometimes that depends on the weather, the time of day, and really that's really to tell if AC is leaking, especially if you're dealing with commercial property, if it's on top. But you need an indoor air quality assessment done, and that has to be done by somebody who is certified to do it, not just get a moisture meter. You got to have that test done, and it may cost you a few $100s, but it's better than sitting in the hospital spending a few $1,000s, right? So you got any questions? Let me know. My name is Lendsey with Houston Home Realty Group. I'm a real estate broker. I'm also a real estate instructor. I wear many hats. I've done many, many deals. I've worked with all types of buyers and sellers. My job is to educate, because knowledge is power, and knowledge equals profit. You got to know what you're doing. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.